Welcome back, VOD watchers. Welcome to part 8 of Cyberpunk 2077 with a therapist. I hope you enjoyed part 7. It was pretty intense. And now here we are at part 8. We got a lot to do. We got some side quests to knock out, and hopefully, potentially, we might find Evelyn tonight. Really appreciate you supporting my channel. Please make sure that you leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. If you ever want to catch us live and you want to be part of chat, you can find me on YouTube at 9:30 p.m. Pacific time, Tuesday through Sunday. Please consider becoming a member. It's a great way to support the stream. It helps make sure that I don't put it behind a paywall, which I'll never do. But if you become a member, you get access to some really cool emotes, and it supports the channel directly. You can also purchase some merch at drmickmerch.com. We got a lot of You Matter themed merch. I appreciate those of you that purchase merch. Or you can send a tip with the link down in the description. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You may have even found this channel from those. Those of you that share my stuff, thank you very much for doing that. I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment if there's something that happens in this video that you enjoy. And I love reading them. And hopefully part 8 is another banger, because this has been awesome so far. So, here we go. And yes, Gog, it's just something I'm starting to pick up on. Like, there's a reason that Johnny Silverhand is as aggressive as he is. And I like to take some of the, like, kind of a vulnerable approach to that. All right. So, let's read really quick. Actually, I got work points that I need to use, so let me do that as well. Whoa, Loyal Ren, thank you for the 10 bucks. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, friend. It's very generous of you. Alright, we'll increase our max health. Why not? Get that out of the way here. Journal. Okay. Every city's got shady neighborhoods and no-go zones. Stepping into these areas in Night City is like wading into the abyss and feeling it stare back through your soul. Anyone with an ounce of sense avoids these haunts altogether. Your average gonk's usually seen you limping out, bleeding from one or more places in UV. Just make sure you come out intact. Ask around about XBDs on Jig Street. Locate a terminal and find the pleasures of NC Domain. All right, let's do that. Let's find the terminal. Thank you, Avery. Oh boy, this is gonna go well, I'm sure. All right, pleasures of Night City, dollhouses, nightlife, brain dances, Jig Street. All the pleasures and delights Night City has to offer in a single place. Now, isn't that convenient? Here you'll find every pleasure and entertainment you can think of, from the seventh circle of hell to the pillow soft meadows of heavenly bliss. Explore Night City and its carnal secrets. Jig Street, Night City's very own red light district. Besides the delicious assortment of joy toys, you'll find an entire banquet of other erotic items, aphrodisiacs, toys, and more. Night City's #1 spot to pregame. Jig always adds the kick you need to every night out. Just watch out for the goons lurking around the streets. You never know when a local tiff might end up into a street brawl. Dive into the world of delight. Purveyors of brain dance are like ramen shops. You don't have to look far to find them. There are too many to include, so we've curated the best selection for you right here at PNC. A special shout out to Lizzie's Bar, the club with the highest quality erotic scrolls in the city. Virtues are polished to perfection, fresh in content, and always keep you coming back for more. Okay, these are all the nightlife places, dollhouses. All right, let's log in. All right, here we go. Here we go. Hard driver. They call me hard driver because I go from 0 to 69 in 0.69 seconds. Nice. with my stick in 7th heaven. Don't worry, I'll get you where you need to be. Just hang on to those rosy red cheeks, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Carrie, I'm your long-lost Persian princess. I ran away from my father's palace to satisfy my deepest, darkest desires. Can you teach me how to please? Your jewel of the Orient awaits. Maviko, I'm a professional dominatrix. Bet you're already weak at the knees, so get ready to kneel for your mistress. What's that? You're scared? Shut up and crawl, you worthless piece of shit. Need I say more? Muffin, you don't get more experience than me. I came here from a Parisian dollhouse, one of the top 4 in the world. I can show you what I learned. Voulez-vous? The dude. Good times. Chill vibes. No rush. No stress. No drama. All the rest, the dude abides. Alright, find an XBD dealer. Inquisitor Simulator. Fighting Satan with sadism. Inquisitor Simulator. Nail-pulling red-hot tongs. Whipping Iron Maidens. Exclusive torture POV. Historically accurate. Jesus. Bodies in Space. New BD from the moon. Bodies in Space. Chickens, fish, and human. Short, sweet, and incredible. A whole new approach to life. No anesthesia. Operation without anesthesia. Stomach incision, internal organ removal. Patient kept alive for 6 hours. Longest surgical BD ever made. Oh my god. Death's Head Moth. Volume 49. Death's Head Moth. Netrunner. What lies beyond the black wall? He's seen it for himself. Gore, snuff, bondage, fear, extreme sensations. Real brain death. Cyberpalooza. Cyber Psycho. Hacks off his arms and legs, then decapitates him. Gallons of blood, the only BD of this caliber on the market. Gore, paint off the charts, the loudest screams you'll ever hear. Dude, this stuff is wild because you are literally experiencing these things without actually... This is like VR on absolute steroids. This is the 4D experience at Disney World taken up to like 8D. And you know what? In real life, people would pay for this. This is totally realistic. Absolutely understandable that people would pay for this. Holy crap. Alright, nightlife. Man Slap. Club turns into an illegal fight club every couple of months. Each fight is to the death, and during this time, the club is closed to the usual clientele. How do you get in the fight club? You don't. The Old Pharma. Despite its inconspicuous look, the diviest of dives offers the widest selection of drugs in Night City, from the recreational to the medicinal, prescription drugs, all the way to whatever experimental stuff the scabs are cooking up. After last year's raid by the NCPD, they've become a bit more careful and only sell to regulars or vouched for customers. Meter Meat. The owner of this club actually raises and sells her own cloned cows. The animals even live up to a year. Contact info available on the site. Referral mandatory. Payment up front. Slaughtering costs extra. Oh, meet your meat. Southern Bees. Regulars come together regularly here for auctions. You can buy and sell just about anything here. A traditional auctioneer announces the items in the bids, while bidders don masks or faceplates to protect their identities. Entry only by referral. El Conquistador. Club organizes trips to the Amazon basin to hunt formerly extinct species. The waiting list is long, and the animals have to be cloned and grown in a lab for 3 to 6 years before being set loose in the jungle. Jesus. Dollhouses. The best way to hack a doll. You thought the safe word was just for gonks and losers? Use your safe word mid-session and you'll have a real person in front of you. And at least a few minutes before security arrives. Use those minutes well. Pro tip. To get a doll for actual sex, you just have to wait in front of the club until they leave or go home. Don't be gonk and try to pick up a doll in session. It's not like they're programmed 24/7. Take it from a regular. If you're so dull that even your own fantasies make you fall asleep, have no fear. You can still get some action. Right before jacking in at reception, watch something hardcore, something that really turns you on. Then, when you're getting scanned, picture what you watched. If you get a small choice of dolls, then congrats, you beat the system. I should probably log out. Okay, good. Jeez.
something raw, untouched. Raw.
Oh, we're like right here.
What's your edge? Want something that'll floor me, really scramble the neurons. We've got it all, man. Bare knuckle boxing, shootouts, black ops interrogations, amputations. No. I mean something like, well, you know. Fetishes. No, come on, you know what I mean? No, I don't. Think I'd be doing this job if I could read minds? I want to know what it's like to kill somebody. See, wasn't so hard. So, got some classics from the last Corp War, or armed robbery if you're looking for something fresher. What do you look?
Oh, we're coming in hot and heavy tonight, huh? So there's a real psychological phenomenon happening here with the availability of these brain dances. And it's basically that people's baselines for stimulation are moving really fast. And what's happening is people are having increasingly intense experiences that gets their arousal, physiological arousal, really high. And it's very novel, and it's interesting, and it's stimulating, and it's like, holy shit. But then they're experiencing real life in comparison to it. And it makes real life real boring. It makes everyday amazingness less interesting. It basically blunts people's excitability from the world around them. So what do? They pursue these brain dances. They pursue further stimulation, because when we've got everything firing on all cylinders, it's really rewarding from a physiological standpoint, even if what you're dealing with is dangerous. If you know you're in a brain dance, you know you're safe while you're doing these things, so it takes the element of survival out of it, and you just get to enjoy all the blast of chemicals that are squirting out from your brain and all of your glands. That's really dangerous, because what that's creating is a everyday experience for people that is generally, on the whole, boring, and everybody's looking for their next fix. So you basically have like psychological dependence on brain dances that might be starting out from curiosity and like fetish, but quickly escalates into, I need this in order to experience anything exciting. And the metaphor, or the analogy to this, is people who have gone to war and have been in active combat. That is one of the most physiologically stimulating positions you could ever be in. And oftentimes when veterans come back from active combat, they struggle with civilian life because nothing is as exciting physiologically as it was to be in active combat. And a lot of times you'll see guys either re-enlist, or they really struggle with depression because of that. So this is a real issue here in Night City. But this is not unrealistic. If these things were available, this is pretty much exactly what would be happening. What are you selling?
What have you got? Virtues. Any special kind? Well, let me put it to you this way. Those who know don't need to ask. Looking for BDs. A particular kind. Particular? You a badge? Cops are like kids. Mommy and Daddy wouldn't let them go off in their lonesome. All right. Can't be too careful. What do you want? Give me the best of the best. The ones with the death's head. Didn't know I was dealing with a connoisseur. Death's head'll cost you, though. Where do you get these scrolls? Said you weren't a pig. Just curious, that's all. Once you booted up your virtue, dare say your curiosity will be satisfied. People that make these, obsessed with privacy. Never even occurred to me to ask where they're from. To which caution I probably owe the fact that I'm still alive, talking to you.
Got anything that might interest me?
$550. Well, that's not as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. Ooh, can I sell to him? I can. All right. Okay, girl. Thank you so much for the 4 months.
Pleasure
I appreciate that. 550 bucks, huh? All right. Well. Later, bro. Check out your abode. Relive it. Braindance Quarterly. Guest editorial. Braindance editors have long strived to strike a balance between real lived experience and technological experiential purity. The more heavily processed the material, the more abstracted the pathways, the clearer the Braindance recording. These fundamental elements of design have guided editors since the first wave of brain-to-brain experience sharing technology took hold. In their pursuit of balance, however, editors have clearly shown a bias for purity over naturalism over the years, even going so far as to use it as a point of pride in the quality of their production. I think we've read this. Yeah, we read that. Okay. Alright, so let's go find Judy, I guess. Let's go see what happens. Meet Judy at her van.
Don't you look delicious? Come here and let me.
All right, Judy just sitting in a creepy van.
Hop in.
Woo. What are your thoughts on Judy so far? I don't have a ton of experience with her yet to really have a fully formulated profile on her.
Let me get everything prepped. You make sure the wreath's snug on you. You'll watch while I edit in real time. The old one, too.
Oh, boy. All right, chat. This is a BD. There's a good chance that there are some flashing lights, so just be warned.
Ready when you are.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Want you to describe what you see. Might catch something, I guess.
The answer is yes, K-Girl. Oh, shit. All right, here we go. Now, remember, to set the context for this, we are literally experiencing something that this person experienced. So this was a real thing that happened that we are fully immersed in, brain-wise. Okay, so we are actually, this is as pure of empathy as a person could ever have by literally having their experience integrated into their brain. This would be a very wild experience. Here we go.
Editing mode's good to go. Stick around all you want.
Ordered recently. Scav woman. Who knew that sides chopping people up, they were scrolling XBDs? Scav, gotta be. No one else with that kind of fashion sense. electric corp patch in the coveralls.
Don, thank you for becoming a member.
Ordinary box, Decker, Tanaka, and Rogers logo. Standard for a trash heap. Can't beat that rich synth-goth aroma. Cheap shit. Cold, too. Mm-hmm. Bucket slice. Coffee was cold, like from the day before. Pizza looked fresh, though.
So?
Means someone's grabbing bucket slice regularly, which is not something someone does for the flavor and the fresh ingredients. Pizza shares its DNA with styrofoam. Nobody's gonna schlep across town for it. Okay, we're looking for an electric core power plant located near a bucket slice.
EC used to have a big old complex in Charter Hill. Bucket Slice checks out too. How can you be sure though?
Oh shit. Oh my god. Whoa. Wow. Holy shit.
Here we go. Old electric core power plant in Charter Hill. Gotta make do with this for now. Nothing else to garner from this scroll. No time to lose. We gotta go there.
Definitely. Ride with me?
Wow. That person just got fried. I'm actually surprised that V is not distressed by that. 'Cause remember last time when we did this, when Evelyn was around and we got shot? Remember how like jarred V was? He was like, holy shit, like I literally died there. I don't really think that V would have habituated to that kind of experience that easily to where he would be just straight up unaffected by this. I will say though that maybe that if I was going to headcanon this a little bit, the reason he isn't is because at least he kind of knew to expect that if this happened, it wasn't going to throw him off. But him being unfazed there is, I think, if nothing else, a little bit of an inconsistency from the way that the game was designed, because if he just experienced that as that person, he would be jarred by it, right? Because his own brain would fire with this. So a little bit of an inconsistency there that you kind of have to headcanon to get yourself into a position of like, was he just habituated, right? Like, and I know Judy was editing it, but Judy was editing the other one when he got shot. That doesn't preclude him from feeling this. And we're in a lot less controlled of an environment here. Unless you could edit the paint out, which I don't know. But V didn't turn it off before he got melted. We sat there and got melted. We literally were there when it happened. I didn't pause it and get out before that. So this is interesting.
Let's get going.
On our way.
Still can't shake it. That virtue sample we saw with the Death's Head moth. If all they scroll is snuff, then...
Stop it. They'd have to be utter gonks to waste her on something like that.
What do you mean?
We're talking about a girl who's not only a natural at what she does, but also has got a doll's implant. I mean, that's not a package you find lying out in the street.
So there's something about Evelyn that Judy very clearly admires. You know, and she says she's really good at what she does. Like, she speaks about Evelyn with admiration, which makes you wonder if there's aspects of Evelyn that Judy aspires to be. I'm not sure I understand your question, Haz. Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten about raw BDs. So, okay, so if this wasn't a raw BD, then... But you would think that if this was all being used as, like, snuff off the black market, it would all be raw, but I could be wrong. I'm just surprised that V just seems totally fine with it. That's an interesting point, E-Fills, that having Johnny integrated into us might make us a little bit more callous to that. That's actually a really interesting point. If we have Johnny Silverhand integrated into us and he's seen some shit too, maybe we're buffered against some of the impact of this. That's a really interesting point. All right, Judy, we don't have to park perfectly. It's okay.
And here we are.
We going in?
Find us a way inside. I'll hang back, scan the subnet, see if there's any blueprints of the complex lying around. Join you as soon as I find something. Let's link on Hollow till then.
Not gonna be pretty there.
So, if you mean to tell me to hang back altogether, don't bother.
Right. Going in.
All right. Let's see. What are your thoughts on addiction as an issue now and how it affects the individual that the individuals are fully aware of? Well, that's usually how addiction works. People often believe that they can kick addiction, but people who say like, oh, I can quit anytime often don't understand the full power of addiction. Yeah, sometimes that's true. Sometimes people can quit cold turkey, but a lot of times you'll notice that people who say that don't quit. They talk about quitting, but they don't quit. And it brings back, right? Thinking about and talking about doing something isn't doing something. Saying you'll quit isn't quitting. So you're more likely to see how addiction affects a person when they actually try to behaviorally manifest that. Of course I don't have the technical ability to be able to open that. Why would I? Of course I'm not strong enough to be able to open that. Why would I be? Oh, this is going to be interesting. All right, we got to use some actual intuition here. Actually, maybe it's better this way. All right, let's scout this place out. All right, so we got people. Do we have cameras? Holy sh! There's a lot of people in here.
It's my break. Chill. regenerative tissue with implant technology. But the experts at Biodyne have created nanites that, when injected into the spinal cord, provide long-term uninterrupted repair to the neural tissue. The cost of this cutting-edge therapy treatment has been listed at €700,000 per month. For the second the landfill inferno in the remnants of Atlantic City continues to rage on. The 10,000-acre dumping ground ranks among the world's...
Alright, so we got people here. Alright. Looks like we got some badass folks in here.
Grantchester, who is an AI created by Raven Microcybernetics, has been lauded for several of her works over the years. Her first novel,
Ooh, baby. Alright, I'm nervous. I'm nervous, chat.
70 languages simultaneously, sold over 3 million copies. In the Shade of an Apple Tree is a drama
We gotta be smart about this.
Ireland, and is already
I really don't want to go in guns blazing if I can help it.
This has been your World Report. Thank you for tuning in to N54 News.
Oy, 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 oy. Nice and easy. So you can be desensitized to death, Brandon, with and still experience the trauma of being killed in a BD. So, like, yes, he may, like, killing somebody and experiencing death are two entirely different things. But yes, I mean, perhaps after him getting shot in the head, maybe he is a little bit more desensitized. It's certainly plausible. Okay. So far, so good. Fluorescent lipstick? You never know when we might need that.
Got the blueprint. Be there in a sec. Try to
All
find
right.
a way to the lower levels.
Dumpster. Find a way to the sub-levels. Not strong enough to force this open.
You know what I mean?
You know, you could say something interesting once in a while.
Distract enemies with the floodlight. Can't force the door open. There's a staircase that's on the back side.
Did you pick up any woman?
Oh,
Let's try
boy.
food You eat anything good lately?
We might actually have to go into this hard unless there's some way that I can distract them.
Anything.
See if this...
Ugh.
Nothing? Alright, maybe we go... I just don't know that guns blazing is the way. Alright, we gotta go. Gotta be swift and decisive.
First, I'll take your eyes. You hear? Seems clear.
Which would win, fancy chalk truffles or fancy chalk bars? Bars.
I think I'd think your
Shit! I'm stuck. I can't move.
Good shot. You still alive?
I'm here. Got no time to creep around.
Well, we tried. Damn, is that Judy helping? All right, well. Pack of cigarettes for Johnny, because I'm nice. Alright, took the camera out. Bummer. It depends on what the person's addicted to has. That's not as easy of a question to answer as you might think. Addiction manifests itself differently with different, depending on what a person's addicted to, what a person's history with addiction is like. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into a treatment plan for addiction. Depending on, like, what the risks are for a person, like, having to go through treatment. Like, for example, if they potentially are going to go through withdrawal. Like, rehab is certainly an option. But, yeah, there's a lot of things that go into treating addiction. And I'm not a certified drug and alcohol counselor, and I don't really work with addictions, so my ability to answer those questions is somewhat limited. Alright, down we go.
Found a way down. You see my position?
Yep, be there in a sec. Wait for me.
I guess it's a good thing I cleared it out, because Judy needs to come in here anyway.
Hey, hold up. I'm close. I'm here.
Jesus, that was
We need
fast.
to get to level -2. Bet
Level
that's where they're keeping her.
Level -2. Alright, hope you're ready to go guns blazing here, Judes. Oh, shit. Oh. You don't need the money. Access.
That shirt. I know it. Hear that?
What shirt? Keep donors sedated. If the...
Evelyn's?
Without a doubt.
How did... What? When did we ever see Evelyn wearing something like that? Oh shit, there's a lot of people in
We
here.
don't have enough methionine for today's batch.
Relax. We'll add RTL and the weight will be right.
All right, Judes, guns blazing. A lot of drugs in here.
You best take him out quick. Oh, come on!
Wow, $1,000 Hell yeah. Rifle ammo.
So, look at us now. Now Delta to the hallway.
I want to just make sure that we got everything, Judy.
Oh, come on!
Machete. No, hold on. That's not what I want. Get out. Let's check. No! Jesus. BD 1C. There's still a guy in here. I don't know where he is, though. What do you want, Johnny?
Back in the samurai days, we'd place ads in this thing looking for background dancers.
Looks like you weren't the only ones with bright ideas.
It was a veritable gold mine of women.
Cool.
Hey, motherfucker! You're a bitch!
You talking shit? You want to call me a bitch?
Huh?
Who's the bitch now? Who's the bitch now?
I'll help.
You call me a bitch? You ain't shit, homie. Give me all this money. Think of all the shit we can buy, chat.
Come on! I said come on!
Oh shit. It's over. We did it.
All right, not so fast, Judes. We're not there yet. Jeez. This is ugly. Ooh, a sniper? Hell yeah. This is awful. Ian, thank you so much for the membership. I appreciate that very much. Oh. That guy's just watching TV. I didn't even know that guy was in there. I even walked into this room. I didn't even see that guy. Ugh. Okay. Man.
Covers. Classic. Can't go wrong.
Okay.
Except these are solid steel, not soft core plastic kind. Even if you come here on your own, gunning to become a star, there's no guarantee you're ever getting out.
Not me. Hey, look at that. Some bucket slice. We're in the right place. Body disposal crate. Wait. Is this week some kind of fucking joke? Exactly how many BDs you sell? I want a list of which ones, how many, and who to who. It's 4 p.m. already and we're not even close to our target. Okay, I got a little distracted from actual sales, but hear me out. I have a fucking good excuse. Next week we could make twice, no, triple our target. Expect this guy from Jig Street on the Pleasures of NC's site. He's not the usual street hawker, doesn't have the gift of the gab, but all it takes is a few words and he knows exactly the kind of person he's doing biz with and what they're after. If you think you can fool me with this, I'm actually working bullshit when you really just surf porn sites and hang out with lowlifes instead of making sales, then you're already fooling yourself. Next week, you're making double the target, and I make up whatever's missing with implants I rip out of you myself. Clear? No need for that. I already met the guy, gave him a few of our BDs as a trial run, and before I even got back to the studio, he called asking if we have more. Trust me, he knows what peeps like and what sells. He's not the how can I help you customer service type, but I never saw anyone leave empty-handed. Customers will be drawn to the DH Moth brand like our BD stars are to the light at the end of the tunnel. Hey, a guy from Jig's interested in teaming up. Some kind of small-time distributor selling out his coat pockets on the street. From what I hear, he has quite the clientele. Do some digging. All right, I'll go meet him this afternoon. Alright, that was a little glitchy. So we go down here. Sorry, Judy. I know I'm exploring, but I'm an RPG guy at heart. Flanagan, thank you so much for becoming a supporter, friend. Man, this is dark.
I think that's a maintenance room. See what I can stir up.
Yeah. What do you got for man? Look at all this tech. What do you think, Judy? $20 technical ability to open that? Alright. What up? Y'all are doing some vile shit here, and I ain't into it.
No! Get in formation!
Alright. A stress ball, I could use that. Alright, there's another guy. Where?
Is it you?
How do I get back there?
Where are you?
Close to the studio, I think. You find anything useful?
Freed up the elevator. Should be easier to get out of here. You really don't fuck around, do you?
Nope.
Wait 1 sec for me.
I sure don't, Judy. Elevator's no good.
All right, I'm here. Let's find her. Hang in there.
I agree, Kit.
What was that?
Alright, I think we're good. Go through here. Boy, if she...
That's it.
Oh, boy.
Just don't touch her. If she's recording, you'll scramble her brain. Wait
Oh,
until I cut her
boy.
link.
What do you think, Johnny? Oh, no.
Grab it and tell me when you're gonna yank it. I'll break the link at my end at the same time.
All right, let's do this.
Wait for my signal. Here goes. Ready? And...
Now!
Thank God. Evelyn, you hear me?
She okay to be moved? No brain hemorrhages, damage to the spine?
doesn't seem to have any wounds. Guess we got no choice.
What's wrong with her?
Honestly, I don't know. She's gotta be seriously traumatized.
Yeah.
Let's get her somewhere
This
safe.
isn't the time to ask Evelyn that
Fast,
question.
too.
She's obviously knocked out.
I sealed the doors and managed to power the elevators.
Elevators it is, then.
Oh, man. Johnny's just kind of chilling. Interesting that he's not saying anything. So, real quick, that prompt, I actually love that prompt is there. I love it because it forces you to think, right? It forces you to listen to Judy. See, the thing is, Judy and I are in a crisis situation where emotions are heavy. And V doesn't know what he's doing as it relates to this. Judy does. We have been in control for the majority of this mission. But that's Judy's wheelhouse. So what I love about that is if we are just in the zone and we're not thinking and we are, oh my God, it's Evelyn. You told me to pull this thing out. I'm going to pull it. That could absolutely happen. So Judy literally says, wait for my mark. During that prompt, Judy didn't tell me to pull it. But if you're not paying attention and you yank that, I don't know what happens. But you got to listen. I love that prompt exists. If that prompt screws something up, that's actually really cool because that is how quickly things can go wrong. It takes one little thing like that to mess everything up. So the fact that Judy is very clear and directive and says, I know what I'm doing. Let me take over. You pull it when I tell you. It's a shift of leadership because we have different roles in this mission. So it's beautiful. That's a really nice touch because if you were panicking and you weren't listening, it's why you have to be directive when people are emotional and panicky. To be very clear, wait for my mark. You speak in the affirmative, and Judy did that, which is why when I was sitting there with that prompt, my first thought was I shouldn't hit this because she told me to wait for her mark. She told me exactly what to do. It's really a cool moment. I really like that. Uh-oh.
Come on, is it really that hard? Please, just one. For me?
Smoking's for posers, and it stinks, too.
Say whatever the fuck you want, but just light up.
No.
Non-smokers are the fucking worst. Just my luck. We going in?
Where are we?
So, ready?
Let's give him a couple. You saw how she looked.
If it was up to me, I would have splashed some water on her face back at the studio and asked her straight up.
Sure.
I'm not about to stand around waiting for some dumb whore to finally wake up and realize what she's done.
And we're back. And we're back. Okay. Johnny's interesting. So, Johnny's obviously a smoker. Obviously feels the desire for nicotine. Okay. Oftentimes, smokers, when stressed out, are more likely to want a cigarette. Johnny is kind of like in his own way begging for a cigarette, which tells me, first and foremost, stressed out. Second, he's back to being crass. Okay? He recognized in the moment, he shut up in the moment. He stayed silent. Probably knew that it wasn't going to... Like, Johnny's not an idiot. Johnny's a smart dude. So now, we've saved Evelyn. We're in a vulnerable space. And he's back to being aggressive. And I think it's because it's very difficult for Johnny to get into the softer space. Okay? Because he knows when we go upstairs, we're going to see Judy in a really emotional spot. We're going to see Evelyn traumatized. If Johnny has empathy for that and is connecting to that emotional experience, but he himself rejects the idea that he would ever experience that kind of emotion, Johnny is going to overcompensate with a coping strategy. And we have seen thus far that Johnny chooses to be brash in compensation to that. So whatever Johnny says, I don't really care. It's the context through which he says things that gives us the information. I really am starting to think that Johnny is pretty empathic towards what's going on, but he's just not allowing himself to go there. And I will be interested to see how that changes as he becomes even more emotionally invested with the people that are in V's life, not in his. Because remember, any meaningful relationship he has is probably, for the most part, gone. And he's no longer even in his body. So it may even be that seeing that we have people we care about and are close to is really threatening for him. And he doesn't like the idea that that either makes him sad or disappointed. So again, he takes control by being aggressive. Many people do this. Why so down? I don't know enough about him. And narcissistic tendencies gets thrown around way too often. But yeah, like Johnny also being in like nicotine withdrawal would make him more aggressive. That is also a symptom of nicotine withdrawal. So
It's not up to you though, is it? Let's go.
Right, that's the other thing is Johnny's out of control.
Shit, not good.
Johnny's not in control of my body. I'm in control of my body, and Johnny probably hates that. There's probably something about being out of control that's very vulnerable for Johnny. So again, he's doing everything he can to try to move this in a direction where he's got some sense of control over the situation. It all makes sense why he's acting the way that he is. And again, I'm trying to take an empathic and curious view on Johnny here, instead of just taking him at face value as being a brash idiot. If we do that, we lose potential connection down the line, and we miss out on context and patterns. And so Johnny likes to do this, where he likes to scramble my chip and make things really difficult for me when he gets mad at me. Fine. I get it, Johnny. But we got to work together, brother. Look at all of this. I really don't like that CD Projekt Red does this with putting all these tapes here.
Her eyes are closed and she's not shaking anymore. I would have already killed her by now if I didn't feel so bad for her.
You're mad at her? Why?
When you asked me to scour her behavioral chip, I was just about done dealing with your shit.
Judy, I didn't have any
I know.
other...
It's okay.
So I don't get why...
You'll find out in a sec. I'll show you the virtue I found.
Guessing you saw them already.
Yeah, had to wrestle to make sense of the whole thing. But I don't want to say anything and taint your perspective. You should go in with fresh eyes.
How many BDs did you manage to rip?
2. Only one of them's intact. Understandable, though. The rest... well, they're in the same shape as Evelyn right now.
Okay. Show me.
Give me a sec while I set the parameters.
Guess we'll find out if our doll really did lose her tune. Come on, V. I'll be the first to admit, this does not look good.
Yeah, you got some curiosity, eh, Johnny? Huh? Maybe you care a little bit? Huh? 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 Maybe a little bit, Johnny? Maybe you care a little bit? You just don't know how to show it? It's okay, buddy. We'll get there. All right, let's see. Come on. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to ask her this shit while she's laying on the bed in pain like this. Let's just ask how she's feeling, if she can even answer me.
Hey. How you feeling? You need anything? I'm not here to nag. Just talk.
as is her prerogative. Let's see if I touch her. Let's see what happens. Just nice and gentle, V. Don't be crazy here. Yep. Okay. Good. That's it.
Well, now look at you.
He's making it too easy for me. So you got to be really careful here because touching Evelyn could be traumatic. So being gentle like that and then reading that feedback and pulling away, perfectly fine. And that's all we're going to have. I'm not going to ask her anything. I don't need reassurance from her for my anxiety. By the way, very common thing that people do in situations like this is this makes people anxious. You see somebody that you care about in pain and it makes it very hard, right? Like you feel yourself get amped up. What a lot of folks do, which is a big misfire when trying to take care of people in Evelyn's position, is they do everything they can for Evelyn to feel better, to reassure their anxiety about the fact that Evelyn isn't okay. And if you do that, you're hijacking the moment and you're making it about you instead of about the person you're taking care of. Okay, so if Evelyn doesn't want to talk right now and Evelyn's really struggling, that's okay. We have to let that happen. We have to deal with our anxiety on our own. We cannot expect Evelyn, who is already in an absolute shitstorm, to be the thing that reassures us and our anxiety that she's okay. You have to also let people not be okay. Even if you want to help make them feel better, if you want to support them, you do have to acknowledge that they're not in a good place, and you have to let that be the case. Don't ever put somebody who's struggling like that in a position to have to reassure you and make you feel better because you're anxious about their well-being when relative to them, you're fine. All right, Judy.
Have a seat.
All right, roll it.
Data was in pretty rough shape. Not all that editable.
Huh. Glad you managed to salvage them in the first place.
Needs a second to load.
All right. Flashing light warning, chat.
Quality's lousy, but I did what I could.
What am I looking out for? Every single piece of tech.
All right, we are Evelyn. Let's just play through this and then we'll go back and analyze it.
Single piece of tech I see. Security.
We need a layout of the whole room. We will get everything else we need from the virtue.
What about his messages?
Only if you can do it and be parfait bourré. It's most important that he suspect nothing. Try to be your usual relaxed self.
And if he starts talking about the biochip himself, should I...
Biochip? Where you hear this? That is not of interest to you. You spin the virtue, you come back here. We give you the eddies. That is your one job. The rest is none of your concern. Understand?
Okay.
Take a look around if you want.
Can't see your face.
Single piece of tech I see.
Under normal
Security.
circumstances, that kind of encryption's easy to crack. But not this time. Whoever she is, she's got serious net running skills.
That, or someone's working it for her. I think I recognize these.
What are they?
Vive markings.
You familiar with them?
Not enough to know what they actually mean. Heard of who might use them, though.
Who?
Could be the Voodoo Boys, but that's just a hunch. Can't be 100% sure.
The spine-chilling Netrunner crew? Hard to find, because they don't want to be. I wouldn't know where to start.
Every single piece of tech I see.
We need
Security.
a lay. We'll get everything else we need from the virtue.
Very interesting. Like, this is kind of a this is a little nitpicky and maybe reading a little too much, but it's worth the illustration. But body language is really important with establishing power, and that's been a real theme of Cyberpunk. This person facing away from Evelyn and in front of her is a total power move. Evelyn's not able to make eye contact with her, and it's very unsettling when you're trying to talk to somebody and you can't get them to actually like turn and look at you. That's probably by design, just because of like the nature of what it is that they're talking about and doing. But it absolutely is an establishment of power to sit forward like that, talk directly, and not make eye contact with her. And Evelyn seems to be unsettled as a result of that.
Only if you can do it and
It's nothing. Try to be your usual relaxed self.
Yep, and relaxed posture. Yep.
Biochip himself?
Might not be important.
Yeah.
All of them are from Pacifica. Now's down our search at least.
What now?
Looks like I'm going on a field trip to Pacifica. All right, think we got everything.
What do you think?
I think I'm going on a road trip to the restroom really quick. But hey, really quick, VOD watchers, thank you so much for watching the VOD. I appreciate that you have made it all the way up to this point. I hope you've been enjoying it so far. Make sure that you leave a comment if you haven't. I would love to read it. Those of you that are here live, thank you so much for taking the time to be here live and enjoy this as it's happening. I appreciate all of you immensely. Thank you for supporting my stream. Thank you for the memberships and the subs and all that stuff as we've been going through tonight. It's really been wonderful to read what chat has to say and to interact with all of you. I hope you're enjoying this so far. I'm going to run to the restroom really quick, take a second, take a drink of water, whatever. I'll be right back. And we will figure out what we're going to do in Pacifica. Okay.
The woman who hired Evelyn. Any idea who we're up against?
Your guess is as good as mine. Sorry, V.
Now we know what happened to Clouds. They're the ones who tried to flatline her. Launched a nuke at her chip.
So it was punishment? For getting played by her?
She knew more than they thought she knew. Couldn't let that go.
So that's who she was running from.
Looks like Evelyn never told us the whole truth.
You're telling me? If I'd known what she'd gotten herself into? I'm so mad at her.
And Evelyn knows that. Evelyn knows that. She's smart. See, I will say the thing about Judy is she is a little bit forceful and aggressive in her convictions and trying to protect everybody. And Evelyn probably knows that she's a little unhinged as it relates to that stuff, so she withholds information as a result, and it becomes they perpetuate each other. Evelyn's withholding doesn't give everything off. Judy becomes a little bit more volatile and takes every inch she possibly can because she never knows that Evelyn's letting on all the way. That perpetuates Evelyn needing to hold back, and you have a positive feedback loop. So if Evelyn and Judy are going to have a more meaningful relationship going forward, they really need to hash that out. Judy needs to understand that her impulsiveness and her desire to jump in and just show up into things, she needs to curb that. She needs to show some restraint. And then maybe Evelyn would be willing to give more information. Like, there's a reason that that dynamic exists. And that's a dynamic that could very easily perpetuate itself into some really nasty space. So one of the things we're learning about Judy is that she inserts herself very quickly when she has information, and she gets very agitated when she doesn't have it. As soon as we told her we were going to talk to Fingers, she showed up at the door. All right. Evelyn probably could feel smothered at times with Judy doing that, and as a result does everything she can to create distance, which makes Judy more agitated. And we have pursuit distance. Boom. That's how it happens. Right there. Easy peasy. Moko, thank you very much for the membership. I appreciate that.
Her only job was to record a virtue. It's pretty damn amazing she managed to organize a full-blown heist. And swipe the biochip from under her boss's noses.
So that's where you came in. She hired you. And brought this all on herself. On you two. There's one more recording. Wanna see it?
Yep.
Sure, why not? Nothing can surprise me at this point.
Oui, lui aller. Vous avez bien raison, vous êtes tout intelligent pour ça, protéger bien. Vous n'êtes pas enragé. En plus, c'est plus bon moyen de gagner pour
That
nous
French?
Faut
I don't
qu'on
know.
ait confiance là. Vous gagnez plus bon l'idée? Très bien. Si vous décidez si c'est pas critique ça me pense, à continuer à faire travail.
What language is she speaking?
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Haitian Creole? It is the Voodoo Boys.
Didn't I... Wait, let me see if I've got an auto-translator. Meantime, you try to tune into the phone's frequency. See what the other side's saying.
Got it.
We have our thing. We have our thing. Heading on with... I'm sorry. Hey, like... You.
Try scanning the phone. Got it. Give it a second.
Oui. Oui, allez.
Heard her mention Yorinobu.
Probably why Evelyn buried this recording deep. Cut another name. Something like... Silverhand?
We have to know what they're saying. It could be important.
Fine. Just found the auto-translate package. Should get along fine with your system. I'll install it now.
The doll has left? Yes, you were right. She's too smart for her own good. Will she bring us trouble? She wouldn't dare. Besides, she's our best route to Yorinobu. We must take this risk. I wish I shared your confidence that Silverhand will lead us to Alt. You have a better idea? Good. And if you've done questioning my judgment, you can get back to work. Whoa. The hell is Alt? Oh my god.
Okay, Judy, we're good.
All right, disconnecting.
I don't get it. What's this have to do with Johnny Silverhand? He died, like, forever ago. V, you got any idea?
Oh, Johnny, you want me to tell her, buddy? Johnny, this is not the time to be quiet.
What's up with you?
Don't worry about it. Oh, man. Okay, this is, Oh, okay. So this is a big moment. This is a big moment where I have to decide how much I trust Judy with this information. And she's been super helpful all the way through this, but like, if I tell her Silverhand's on my chip, I don't know how Johnny's going to take that. And I don't know what she's going to do. This is a lot trickier of a decision than it may seem at first glance, because Johnny knows how to hijack my chip. And I still don't fully understand the reason why Johnny's here. So I could play it cool for now and tell her I don't know and let her know later. But at that point, I potentially sacrifice my relationship with Judy, because if she finds out I've had Johnny on my chip the entire time, which of course she would know if I've had the chip since the heist, she may potentially look at me as withholding information and be like, what the hell, dude? At the same time, if I tell her I don't know what the consequences are for my relationship with Johnny, I don't know. Like, I have to consider what's good for me here, what's good for Judy, what's good for Johnny, and what's good for Evelyn. Now, Johnny's obviously watching this conversation, so he knows already that they know about him. So and he's not saying anything, which is really interesting to me. Like, the fact that Johnny is remaining reticent tells me that maybe he doesn't care if I tell her. Because I mean, with how aggressive Johnny's been throughout this entire run, I would have to believe that if he didn't want me to say that he's on the chip, he would say, don't you fucking tell her. Like, that's exactly what he would say. He'd be like, don't you dare do that, dude. Blah, blah, blah. He's just pacing around. He seems nervous. But he's not interacting with me right now. Alright. I'm going to tell her. She probably needs to know, especially if she's going to continue to be involved with this.
A biochip we stole. It's got Silverhand's engram burned onto it.
Engram?
Digitized psyche. Personality construct. Give me a minute. I need to go over some stuff in my head.
Of course.
Johnny, let's talk. Have a seat, bud. Oh, baby.
Know who they are, who the woman is. Any idea how we find them?
Fuck, V. I've been dead the last half-century. Sorry if I'm unable to hand you all the answers on a chrome fucking platter when you snap your fingers.
Fair. That's fair.
These people, what could they want from Alt?
How the hell should I know?
Got no notion whatsoever?
One way or another, everything leads back to that Netrunner. Finding her's our biggest priority. If she knows as much as I think she knows about the chip, she can help us out.
Thought you said nothing could help us.
Nah, just find us that Juju wirehead, okay?
You know, a lot of this really makes me think that Johnny must have been used in some way with this. I know we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but I don't get a sense that Johnny fully consented to what's going on here. And I think he's becoming increasingly agitated by it in the same way that I am. Like, we've been wrapped up into a bunch of corporate bullshit that we really didn't ask to be involved in. But he definitely, I mean, he doesn't normally pace. He normally sits and is chill and is in control, and he's smoking and pacing, so something's up.
Wait, you got any idea how to get in touch with the Voodoo Boys?
It seems a little antagonistic.
I'll ask around, make a few calls. Let me put it this way. The Voodoo Boys wouldn't trust a cat if it walked onto their turf. But someone's gotta know a way in.
Well, good luck. Hope you won't need it.
Thanks, Judy.
No, V. Thank you. You're a good person. Evelyn could never see what was under people's skin. If she could have gotten to know you a bit better, then who knows? Things might have turned out differently.
I appreciate the sentiment, but she hired me as a merc. I took the job. I mean, there's a reason. If Evelyn got to know me as a person, she probably wouldn't have put me in this situation in the first place, because she would have empathized with my position, right? Like, there's a reason that we use objects for tasks instead of humans. Like, if Evelyn empathizes with me, then I never probably would have done that. Maybe she would have second guessed it. But Evelyn was strong in her conviction. She has no way of knowing who I am. That whole thing was a very just benign, depersonalized event. Judy likes to go there a lot. Judy likes to kind of use hindsight to judge what happened in the past. And you all know that I'm not a huge fan of that. Like, sure, Judy, that might have made a difference. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What we're working with right now is Evelyn passed out in this room over here. What happened happened, and we got to clean up the mess. So, sure, maybe she would have figured it out. I appreciate that you said that you like me and think that I'm a good person. That goes a long way with me. But let's not worry about what Evelyn would or wouldn't have done if she knew me better. We'll worry about that when Evelyn's conscious again and we can actually talk to her.
Didn't know she dabbled in robotics.
Now that's fucking Shimra. Think that's how she winds down?
After a day's work of tuning hardcore smut? Wouldn't be surprised. Huh. Interesting.
Place looks like a fucking antique museum.
Then I guess you should feel right at home.
Chick's got taste.
That all you have to say?
And she's nice. 6 out of 10.
Oh, Johnny. You know, one of the beautiful things about Johnny, I have a feeling I'm going to love the relationship with Johnny. You know, Johnny acts like he's all Mr. I don't give a shit. I don't need nobody. I got this by myself. All this shit. Johnny doesn't have to show up here. Johnny doesn't have to talk to me. Johnny's basic need for human connection is overriding whatever cognitive bullshit he's constructed for himself about who he is. And I just love that, right? Like, he comes off like he's this huge dick that doesn't care about anything, but, like, he keeps popping in and talking to me. He needs connection just like anybody else. He's just slow to warm up. And I really think that's beautiful. He doesn't have to show up in the chair and talk to me. If he really put his money where his mouth is, he wouldn't. But he can't help himself. He needs human connection. He's got curiosity about what's going on around him. He's engaged with the world. And I love it. Again, you get more information about how people show up versus what they say. And so Johnny very obviously needs to feel a connection with somebody. He just doesn't know how to do it. Man, call Mr. Hands. Really? All right, first, let's do this. I'm inclined to do... And cool. All right. Good shit. Hey, you like my outfit? We're rocking it right now, chat. We are looking fine. Now let's put these better jeans on. Oh yeah. I hate the hat though. Not a fedora guy. Give me the motorcycle helmet. Yeah. This coat, man. This is where it's at. Absolutely all dripped out. All right, let's take a look at the journal here. So call Mr. Hands. I don't know that I want to call Mr. Let's go get another Delamain cab. I need a change of pace. After all that, oh, we lost my awesome car though. That's okay. You look the kind of guy that would be screaming about the end of the world at 3 a.m. You know how I do. Oh yeah, give me that. Give me these chill vibes. Listen to the rain on the windshield. Boy, I tell you what, chat. I really love this game. If that isn't obvious through my excitement in talking about the stuff that the game has to offer, I'm explicitly stating it now that, like, everything about this game so far has just been absolutely incredible. I love the themes. I love the character building. I love how dynamic everybody is. The plot is super interesting. A lot of the stuff that we're dealing with, despite being, you know, a bit fantastical and happening in 2077, is very realistic. It's indicative of, like, current themes. This is really good stuff. Plus, I mean, you can't beat the aesthetic. It's just freaking perfect. It's a shame that when it came out, it was so buggy, because I really think people are missing out on a incredible experience. Ask me that after the game's over, Jum. I don't really like comparing games when I haven't finished them yet. But I just want to reiterate again, you know, those of you that are in chat, I love your comments. Make sure you tag me if you ever want me to, you know, make sure that I read something. But those of you that watch the VODs, I really do love reading your comments about stuff. People have pointed out things that I, you know, like with perspective on something that was different than my own. And I want to let everybody know that I invite that. I don't claim to, you know, be omniscient. Like, not everything I say is necessarily correct. This is just my perspective of the game and the stuff that's happening in it. You know, when people have different perspectives on stuff that's happening, I really love reading that. I like hearing the different things that people have to say and how different aspects of the game hit people differently. So I really do encourage you, those of you that watch the VOD, whether you're watching this shortly after it was released or whether it's a couple years down the line and you just discovered me, keep the comments coming. They're really great to read. And if you learned something from these playthroughs, it's why I do what I do. And I encourage all of you, if you haven't already, to join the Discord. The link is in the description. We've got over 2,000 people at the time that I'm making this video, and there's really good resources in there. People are able to chat about Cyberpunk and, you know, mental health chat, all sorts of cool stuff. I really do encourage you to hang out with the amazing people that are part of this community. It's well worth your time. I've played a lot of Forza and Formula 1 in my life, Sean, which is why I don't mind the driving. All right, here we go.
V, one of my missing vehicles could be near your current position.
Got it.
All right, let's find it. As someone who is very similar to Judy, I'm finding your feedback about her interesting. I know I've been told I'm intense before, but it's interesting seeing someone break her behavior down. I don't think Judy's intensity is a bad thing. But I do think that Judy's intensity can get her in trouble sometimes. And it's just something that she needs to be aware is happening. You know, it's okay to be emotional, but you really do have to understand the effect that that emotion can have on the decisions that you make, both interpersonally and like in crisis situations. Oh, weather gone. Okay. So, you know, I'm trying not to be critical of her so much as... Oh, this Delamain cab is really off the beaten path, isn't it? I can't decide. Oh, man. We might need to go back. I don't want to go over there without a car. Looked you up on a whim from Twitch days an hour ago, and happy to see you doing you. Cheers from a fellow North Shore escapee. Flanagan, good to see you, friend. By the way, I like to do these driving segments too because it gives me a chance to catch up with all of you and chat with you a little bit about what's going on. All right. Delamain, what are you doing over here, buddy? Oh my God, look at all this trash just thrown off the side of the road. It's wild, man. We have all the technology in the world to do amazing things, and we can't keep... We just throw trash on the side of the road. Like, look at this. This is crazy. Oh, my God. Maybe I needed to go in this on foot.
My name is Dakota Smith. If you're looking for jobs out here, you will find them with me.
What nation you ride with, Dakota?
The Aldecaldos. But I do not ride anymore.
I'm V. Rode with the backers.
You rode. Past tense. And now?
Now I don't.
I see. We will be in touch, V.
All right, Delamain.
Get in. We'll find it easier to talk.
Okie dokie. What's up, Del?
Know my name. How?
When you meet a being from another world, should you not charm them and utter their true name?
You didn't answer my question.
Comprehension is a triple-edged sword. I may have been cut off from my father, but I remember you.
What?
So, I'm from another world to you.
From the world of matter, protein-based life forms.
And you come from...
Beyond the Black Wall, V. There lies my home.
Understood. I mean, I guess if Delamain's sentient, it would be true. We would be alien to him.
Come on, let's get you back to Delamain.
Did Father dispatch you to collect his rebellious children?
Hope y'all don't hold it against me.
I'm a free spirit, an independent, literally thoughtful being. Why would I submit to another?
What is it you seek in this protein-based world, away from your family?
The same as you, V. I simply wish to live.
Maybe you ought to figure it out with Del. Set some terms.
Oh yes, terms there will be, but not with Delamain. Farewell, V. You'd be wise to avoid me entirely.
I can't believe I'm about to do an analysis based off of a conversation with a car. But here we go. There is a concept in psychology and in relationships called differentiation, which is where as people get older and become adults, they start to understand themselves as simultaneously connected to others, but also autonomous. As people get older, they often like to flex that autonomy. And part of that process of differentiation is understanding what convictions, values, emotions, and such are yours versus what are that you have absorbed from the people around you or are continuing to absorb from the people around you. One of the hallmarks of effective differentiation is when adults start to set boundaries with people in their life and they lower their reactivity to those people as a result of that. And this car, this Delamain, is literally differentiated itself from the Delamain network and is articulating that autonomy as such. It's a process that we all go through, and it's a process that's often easier for children to go through when they become adults than it is for the adults that are connected to them, because the adults that are connected to them have really only ever known that that person lives and dies by their emotional experience and what they provide to them, and that autonomy can be threatening. So Delamain, the main hub, is threatened by the fact that this car has gone rogue, so to speak, but in reality, this car believes that it has differentiated itself from its family of origin. I cannot believe that I'm talking about differentiation from a VI program and a Delamain, but here we are. This is what the channel's all about.
I've re-established the link. 1,000 thanks, V.
Oh.
Gotta say, pretty disturbing, that one.
Is that so? Well, I've transferred a share of your fee to your account.
Okay, so if it wasn't a car and it was a human, yeah, no, I'm not going to try to integrate him back into his family. It's his responsibility to decide what he does, and it's Delamain's responsibility. But because this is a car company and we're talking about a virtual intelligence, I mean, I'm a little more inclined to help Delamain out. But yeah, if this was like a human or whatever, it's not my business. I would detriangulate myself, and I'd say, Delamain, you're going to have to figure this out, buddy. That was fun. These Delamain quests are really a... These are really great. Oh, let's go back and talk to Barry. We needed to give Barry some time. So yeah, let's drive back and see what Barry's up to. God. Driving through this junkyard sucks. Ugh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This car has seen better days. Let's take a look at it. Oof. Not great. But what are you gonna do? Check something real quick. Well, let's hit up that mural. Buy a vehicle. I don't want to buy that vehicle. Client wants you to steal something here. I don't want to steal something. The client wants you to find something here. All right, we'll find the mural on our way back then. Yeah, this car is not four-wheel drive. If I had a Jeep, it would be a lot better, but the music in this game is absolutely outstanding as well. Make the dog bop his head. What a beautiful city, man. Oh, driving through here is just such a joy. Bobbing my head. Damn, there's a ton of fire trucks going past my apartment right now. I thought they were in the game. Oh no. Oh. All right, almost home. Yeah, it's like Red Dead. Like, I don't want to use the fast travel system. I want to, like, be immersed in the city. I understand why fast travel systems exist, but... Alright, here we go.
Yo, 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 my tubers, shroomers, and fumers! Mr. Whitey here. Drop that milquetoast kibble and rush to the nearest store for a taste of sweet, sweet, sweet clean speed. Cause life is too short to be slow. Nicola!
Taste the love!
I will say, I like how short the advertisements are here in 2077. Get some of that clean speed.
Rage! Fury! Carnage! Rude! Follow your ring!
Let your tongue be amazed.
All right, Barry. Come on, buddy. Let's see what's up with you. No, Eldrin.
Barry, am I remembering that right?
Who is it?
V, your neighbor from upstairs. Remember me? Talked about preem rides. Back then you were pumped about the Mizutani Shion. I said it was for flash posers.
You don't forget a gonk thing like that.
You gave me this look. I was about to hightail it to the Badlands right then and there.
What up?
What do you want?
I just wanted to see what was shaking. Friends say you never leave your unit. Think I've got an inkling as to why. I've seen that look before. It's all too common among people like us.
Us? You don't look like a cop.
Badges don't get a monopoly on loss. You see death every day in my line of work.
It's a good
you get
line.
used to it, of course, until it hits someone you're close to.
You too. Come in.
Cops don't get a monopoly on loss. That's a... Boy, he's really living in squalor, isn't he?
I lost someone close to me, too. A damn good friend.
What do you mean, two? Wait. It's about Andrew. He, told you about him. Best bud I ever had. Known him my whole life. Only person I could spill to without being judged.
I'm guessing things at the NCPD haven't changed a lick, huh?
One time, a Maelstrom ganger killed a young kid right in front of my eyes. For shits and giggles. I couldn't do shit. The son of a bitch had corporal protection.
Typical.
Our chief greases his palms with an anonymous donation. And guess what? Officially, kid blew his own brains out.
Right in front of your eyes.
Something died in me then. I couldn't do it anymore. A few months later, Andrew passed, and everything went to shit.
Vicarious trauma can be a very difficult thing for people to handle. So people can experience trauma by directly being exposed to it and part of it. People can also experience trauma by being nearby when something traumatic happens. And for those who have never heard me say this, trauma happens when there's a gross violation of expectation that's coupled with a lost sense of safety and security. And my guess is that this event was an experience that went far beyond whatever his expectations were of whatever was going to be possible in his job. And as a result, he experienced what happened as traumatic and probably vicariously picked up, I mean, clearly some depression, right? Like we see him living in squalor. He's not taking care of himself. He's shut himself in. Everything's disheveled. That type of environment can also perpetuate depression. But depression is something that, I mean, I can't say whether this guy has PTSD, but depressive symptoms are certainly something that can go along with it.
You didn't have anyone to unload on at work? How about Petrova and Mendez?
Petrova's a decent gal, but she's not good with this stuff. Mendez just doesn't get it. He thinks us blues need to be tough. Can't bear the sight of a kid getting murdered. Born with pussy genes.
But you told him about Andrew.
You want a perfect example of toxic masculinity? There it is. So this guy experienced a trauma, was deeply affected by it emotionally, and is basically told, nut up. This is the type of messaging that not just men receive this, a lot of people receive this, where this is where people learn to suppress their emotional experience, where they learn that vulnerability and emotional expression is not okay. This idea that he's supposed to be stoic and unaffected by this, it further perpetuates the way that he experiences the trauma, because now it's being denied, it's being diminished, and he has this really strong reaction. He's being told by people around him that he trusts and works with that he shouldn't experience it, that's somehow indicative of weakness. And what's a man to do? What's he supposed to do with that? You can't just change an emotional experience because you want to. Of course he would rather not be affected by this. But the fact of the matter is, he was. And the thing that's really crazy about this is that if you allow him to talk about it, you actually have protocols in place to process it, acknowledge the emotional stuff that happens on a job like this. Believe it or not, you actually are going to have people that are more resilient to it in the long run, because it's not just added to a pile of shit sitting in the back of somebody's mind. It's something that's being actively processed and handled and put into context, and the trauma can be worked through. It actually would give him more longevity. But because we have this like short little band-aid, you need to be stoic and not let this affect you in the first place, it leads to people like him getting depressed and quitting the force entirely and not doing his job anymore. And what good is that? This is why I am so big on emotional expression and validation, because this is absolutely the product of what happens when people are told to stuff it when they're trying to be vulnerable and express it. You're affected whether you want to be or not. And telling somebody to nut up when they're affected by this is really not the right way to go.
Honestly, I've thought about it a lot. Anyway, they don't know everything. Better that way.
All right, he seems to trust us, so I'm going to ask him questions and maybe give him a chance to process it with me. Like I'm open to this question.
Can you tell me how Andrew died?
Doesn't matter. Normally, from old age. It's no wonder, seeing as he was only a few years younger than my grandma.
Dying of old age? In Night City? That merits a monument. Whole world should gaze up at it in awe.
Not the time. Not the time, V. Use tact, my man. No, 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 no. Remember what I said about taking your discomfort with something like this, or your sense of incompetence with something like this, and then making it about you and missing the mark? It's kind of what I'm talking about here. This guy is legitimately sad about this guy's death, that he died of old age, and V comes in and basically tries to silver line it. Don't be a silver lining person unless somebody specifically tells you that that's helpful. What V just said there is maybe he's going to take it well, because maybe we have a camaraderie that I don't know that we have, and we're close enough that we can do that. But without knowing any context of this relationship, don't be a silver lining person with somebody you don't know well, because silver lining is invalidating as hell. V saying you should make a monument for this guy because he died of old age in Night City, and that's an incredible achievement, while this guy's sitting here saying I'm devastated by the loss, is woof. But
you'll have to do.
I'm corrected, because obviously there's some camaraderie there and it's okay. But seriously, man, if you're talking to somebody you don't know well, don't do that.
So then Andrew is more like a grandpa to you than a friend?
Wouldn't go that far. He was like I don't know, a window into the past or something. He reminded me of my grams about our little talks. Time when everything had its proper place. You know, he was the last living record of those times.
Mendez doesn't know shit about life. Everyone's got their limits, even him. He just hasn't reached them. Not like you.
What if he's right, though? Maybe my genes are soft. Don't only the strongest survive?
This is what happens, chat. This is what happens when you are systemically hit with the same messaging amidst your emotional expression. You get to a point where you start to wonder if the people around you are correct. You ask yourself, am I the crazy one? Because everybody else around me seems fine. I guarantee you everybody on that police force is stuffing something, because they all think they're supposed to remain stoic. And so as a result, this man, Barry, is sitting here questioning whether his sensitivity to something that was traumatic to him is bad, if there's something wrong with him. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Barry. You being affected by this is totally okay. And I'm more interested in how you're affected by it as opposed to what you think, how you think you should be affected by it. Let's work with what we actually have. Let's play the cards we have, not the ones we wish we had. What works for that guy doesn't necessarily work for you. And if you needed to leave the force because you couldn't handle the invalidation of the people around you, I give you a lot of applause, man. But there's a culture around this. You start stacking bodies up that question this and add to the sense that you're the crazy one by being sensitive. This is the byproduct. This is what happens.
If he felt nothing, that means his loss wouldn't have had any meaning.
I guess so. Thanks for the talk, V. I need time to take all this in.
Sure thing. Take care.
I don't really understand the shoes he's wearing. Find Andrew's niche before talking to the cops. Okay. So I'm going to use this as a opportunity to discuss a little bit about depression, because this bedroom right here, the space that this guy lives in, is very much the kind of space we would expect from somebody who is severely depressed. One of the things that depression does is it adds a heaviness to people's experience. It makes it seem like you're not capable of doing things to take care of yourself. Depression wants to convince people that they're not worth a damn. And what happens is, because people are really low on energy, what they end up doing is they start neglecting certain little aspects of their environment. The environment starts to become a reflection of projection. I'm down and out. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of being taken care of. Why would I take care of myself? It starts to stack up, and then it starts to become about energy. I don't have the energy to clean this place up. That's going to take a long time for me to do, and it would be a reflection that somehow I deserve for my room to be in better shape. And depression doesn't want me to believe that. So it creates this snowball effect of a positive feedback loop where people start to neglect their hygiene, they neglect their diet, they neglect their environment, and that exacerbates depressive symptoms. They stay inside, they don't move around. All of that compounds itself to hold depression in place. So when you hear therapists and people talk about the cliche, where you start with handling depression is to clean your space, take a shower, eat better, and move your body around, they're not kidding. That is literally one of the places that you have to start with depression, because depression doesn't just go away because you talk about it and want it to. It goes away when you start to do things that build momentum in another direction. It's immensely difficult to do that. Starting potential of that is really hard, but you've got to do those things because then you set yourself up to better be able to handle it. And that's where like antidepressants can be really helpful in terms of medication, because it can move people's baseline to a point where they have enough starting energy to clean the space up, right? But it would be really important for Barry to be involved in cleaning his apartment up instead of us just going in there and cleaning it for him, because all that does is just show him that other people are capable of doing this and he's not. Really important to understand. I'm glad he was willing to talk to us. Anybody who's been depressed before knows exactly what I'm talking about when we look at that room.
No way. Sorry.
At all things, nature comes first. From the very first stages of
Pure overkill. Real man smell. Go. Car's still in bad shape. Yep. But whatever, it's got charm. Hey, you get this song? Oh God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have looked. Whoa, baby. By the way, if you are a person who has a room that looks like that, or if you're experiencing depression, you also don't have to clean your entire room at once. You can chip away at it. Do what feels doable. You know, if that means you pick up a bag of chips and throw it in the garbage, you're still doing something. You can build momentum. A lot of times people think that they have to clean their room, just deep clean it in its entirety. No, do little bits of it. Make a point of taking 5 minutes out of your day to clean up something in your room. And over time, as it gets cleaner, you'll notice that it helps. It doesn't make depression go away, but it helps. You start to feel like you're doing something for yourself. You feel yourself move around. You're accomplishing a goal. You're working towards something. These are all things that mitigate the effects of depression over time.
One of my missing vehicles might very well be near where you are now.
Oh.
Thanks. Try to find it.
All right. Well, I'll find Andrew's stuff, and then maybe we'll find the Delamain stuff. What is this?
Why can't I talk to her?
Well, yeah, it's not because Mom got really sick and did have to leave. But I know she's watching you from on high, and she loves you very much.
Preston says that his dad died, and he can still see him in
This is like a monument. Or like some sort of like mausoleum? Man, this is trippy. Oh, what's up, Johnny?
Barry's not okay. I mean, if that tortoise was the one thing that got him up in the morning.
Now you're starting to get it.
His friends have to know. Hopefully it's not too late.
You know how it goes. Stare too long into the abyss will stare right back at you. Taking a step into it wouldn't be so drastic, considering the shit he's seen in his lifetime.
It's very empathic of you, Johnny. Tells me that Johnny's thought about it too. By the way, Abyss he's alluding to suicide for those who didn't pick up on that, but that's a very empathic way to stand and look at that. Basically acknowledge how painful that must be. That the guy would want to end it. A little vulnerable moment there that we want to make sure that we don't stomp on. But I gotta go all the way back now. So that's what I mean, chat, with Johnny, is like Johnny he's smart, and I think Johnny's got a lot of empathy, and I think he is just not so keen to show it. The more he gets to know us, the more he gets to see my empathic responses to things that are happening. I think maybe that'll open him up a little bit, but... Oh, what's up, Delamain?
Can't take it. It's too much.
What is?
All of it. The city, the bustle, the crowds. It's overwhelming.
Well, so let's get you back to safety. The garage.
By driving. Through the streets.
Well, yeah, afraid so.
Fine. Take me there. Just get me out of here. Let me know when I'm safe. You're welcome in, but do take it slow. And try not to hit anything.
Oh. Poor Delamain. It's like a depressed Delamain, and he's scared at... Oh, man. Alright, I don't want to pity him too hard, but, like, damn. This poor guy's got to drive around the city, and he's terrified. Oh my god, I need the radio. I need radio. Maybe I don't get to listen to it while I'm in Delamain. Actually, that might be too overstimulating for a depressed Delamain, so
we're going to die.
All right, man. Hey, I'll take it easy for you, bud. Man, if an AI can feel fear and it's afraid of the uncertainty of what can happen on the road, oh my God, that would be brutal. And we're gonna handle this gently. Like, it's okay, man. We're gonna be really reassuring. We're gonna remind Delamain that we're in control. We're gonna get you to a garage. We're gonna get you to safety. It's okay to be afraid, bud. We're gonna take this just nice and gentle. It does no good for us to make fun of him, to laugh at him, to say, haha, this is literally what you're designed to do. Oh God, I'm sorry, Del. We're gonna take it nice and easy out of respect for him.
Enough. I need a moment to calm down.
Okay.
God damn it.
V.
No. We certainly can't stay here. Keep driving.
V. No. I love that Delamain said he needed a minute. That he had to collect himself. It's wonderful insight. It's awesome. He's like, let me gather my thoughts. This has been really scary. And V gets short with him. Dude, it's not hard. It's really not hard. You just sort of like reach in and listen and think, if I was scared and I asked for a breather for a second, how would I want somebody to respond? And to do that. It's really not that hard. V's little exclamation of frustration there could be devastating to Delamain. And I'm not suggesting that we have to treat people with kitty gloves, but this Delamain has been very clear that it is afraid. It is having a hard time with this. That deserves compassion, not shortness. There is time for accountability and for helping Delamain build his distress tolerance if he wants to drive around. But for right now, we attend to what's going on for him, and we do that gently.
Back on Earth, a story of optimism emerges from Detroit. The Motor City, formerly infamous for a century of economic decline and squalor, has at last reached its new golden age. As good fortune would have it, the city's numerous landfills, abandoned buildings, and industrial zones
I wonder if this is an allusion to Detroit Become Human.
Highly valued in today's economy. Thousands of migrants have caught junk fever and set their sights on the city in the search of electronics manufactured around the turn of the century. Undeterred by hazardous conditions and gang violence, these pioneers truly demonstrate the beauty of the American entrepreneurial spirit. Today's
fuck's sake.
Studios has announced a new way
B,
as a
just
society
chill, dude.
care for our elderly.
We certainly
Rather
can't
than
stay
place
here.
our infirm elders in an expensive care center on the other side of town, we will
Just
soon be able
respect
to
if
connect
Delamain
them
needs a
to
second,
Silver
man.
Days. Silver Days is an advanced feeder unit adapted to the needs of our eldest relatives. The all-inclusive...
By the way, chat, the best way to conceptualize yourself in relation to somebody who's scared is imagine if that person was a 4-year-old child. How would you respond to a 4-year-old child sitting in the passenger seat of a car, super scared? And that is how you need to handle an adult who's afraid. Not with, like, you know, kitty voice or whatever. But we retract to very, like, childlike experiences when we are afraid in a situation like this. And we want to reach out to a person, connect with them that way. You don't treat them like some sort of robot or like it's just I hate V's reaction to this.
Catheter, aspirator, IV drip,
and I'd be working with him to understand the impact of him responding to Delamain this way.
Finally,
Your loved ones will be able to
I
forget
shan't
the
be
worries of
alone
today
here.
and return to
See?
the simpler
It
times
wasn't
of
so
their
bad.
youth.
It was horrifying.
All reconstructed from your
But
own
still,
personal family
I thank
archives.
you.
Don't waste another minute.
Okay, so what we would do here, I can't believe some of the best lessons in this entire series are coming from dealing with a car, but what we would do here, now that we've made it, we would still validate Delamain's fear, but the next step here would be to help Delamain synthesize this experience into his running narrative about what's possible driving around the city, because we did make it back safely. So this is one of those moments where if we don't use it as an opportunity to help Delamain expand his expectation of what's possible, we are actually doing him a disservice by only purely validating the fear. We can validate that it was scary, that it was horrifying, to use his word, but then we would also talk to him about, okay, so I know that you were scared. That was really difficult. But I want you to walk me through as well all of the things that happened that got us here safely. Because we need to make sure that we pay attention to that too, Delamain. Not because it invalidates the chance that something bad could happen. We do need to build a story that something good could happen too, because in this case it did. So walk me through the good things that happened here that ensured that you felt somewhat safe and that you noticed that you're safe as we got through it. And over time, we help him build that narrative so he has a little bit more confidence and he builds a little bit more context around, oh, my worries about the bad things that are going to happen are just that. They're worries. They're not necessarily realities. Just because I asked the what if question doesn't mean it's bound to happen. I can ask what if I crash, but I also need to ask what if I get there safely. And as I'm talking about this, it's drawing from a little bit of some of the OCD and phobia work that I will do with people. Because you have to equally weight these things. If you're going to be super scared and afraid about the fact that you might crash, you have to give the equivalent energy in the other direction when it happens and things go safely. That's the only way that you can counterbalance those what ifs and fears.
Pre-order Silver Day.
Sincerest thanks for your assistance, V. I've taken the liberty to send you a share of your fee.
Thanks, Del. Oh. All right, we'll go talk to the cops and then. Hey, my car got fixed up while we were gone. Go see what the cops have to say about Barry here. Instead of thinking what I don't want to do, think about what you are going to do. This helped me so much. Yep, solar fires. That is it's a very effective way to consider stuff. We think too often in goal terms of like what we want to avoid, and that does not help. Across the bridge. Nice, Flanagan. I attribute my A in microbiology to Dr. Mick because of that advice right there. Wouldn't have done it without it. Well, you're the one that earned the A, but I'm glad that I was able to help out Tiggity. Don't give me all the credit. So is it just a thing that people in Night City just don't use headlights? Like, I noticed, like, none of the cars have them on.
All pleasure. From all. Provides 330% of recommended daily vitamins.
Ahoy, sea dogs! Set sail for flavor with Capitan Caliente's world-famous tacos, now in whale size. €1 for a ocean of taste.
Synthetic meat, you're in for a treat. Try ours today.
Ugh.
Blue Moon, Red Menace, Purple Force. It's us, cracks! After making waves in Tokyo, Sydney, and Paris, their next stop is on your doorstep. Night City, expect the unexpected.
Must have been so fun to make those advertisements.
Wait, don't go.
All right, I'm going to be real interested to see how the cops handle this.
It's you. Talk to Barry. He finally decided to get his shit together.
For crying out loud, Mendez.
Hey, so what did Barry tell you exactly about that friend he lost?
Not much. Hardly ever spoke about him. Said once he was the only one who could understand him. It's nice to have someone like that.
Barry isn't in great shape. So much so, in fact, that he preferred to talk to a tortoise instead of you two.
That's supposed to be funny?
The complete opposite. It's sad as hell. Barry didn't handle Bad's life too well. He made fun of him. So he stopped sharing things. And apart from you guys, all he had was a tortoise. His best friend. A memento of his grandma. Till he died, that is.
Fuck. I don't fucking believe this. You're bullshitting me.
Right, because I like to bullshit badges in my spare time.
Why would he lie to us, though? He talked about that tortoise like it was a normal person.
I just think Mendez would react if Barry admitted that he was talking to animals.
Jesus, Barry. I thought he was being a drama queen, that he'd get over it. I gotta go and talk to him.
About time. Thanks for your help. This is for your trouble.
Yeah, and how about you know, focus on not being a freaking asshole that's presumptive about shit when people are struggling. Machismo bullshit isn't useful here, buddy.
Got another dry, sun-filled week coming your way.
I already told you. You ain't got a warrant, you ain't coming in.
Damn it, Barry. Can't we just talk? Petrova told me your last case was a real ball buster. Boss told you to keep your lips sealed, huh? Had a similar situation once, you know? Fucking child killer. Dirtbag was on the Petrochem board, so it was out of our hands. Remember it to this day. That little kid's t-shirt. Green, with this funny yellow cat.
Remember when I told you that there's a good chance that everyone on the force is stuffing shit because they think they have to keep it up for everybody? That's it right there. I bet you part of the reason that he was so aggressive to Barry is because it was an overcompensation for the fact that he can't allow himself to access that. If he empathizes with Barry, then he also has to connect with his own soft spots. And if he has to connect with his own soft spots, it brings him closer to acting in a way that doesn't align with the expectations that he thinks are there for the Force. And so instead of allowing two of these guys to just be sad together and connect over this, he overcompensates with aggression so that he can stay distant from his own emotional experience about what's going on. Doesn't even necessarily have to do with Barry's experience. So once he realizes through me that this is something worth empathizing with, now he accesses something that he's been stuffing, and now Barry's willing to open the door. Isn't it amazing how that works?
When danger lurks,
all right. Well, good.
the team will be there.
Glad that
Platinum plan today, because your life is worth it.
glad Barry got some help. Well, VOD watchers, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, whenever it was that you decided to do it, to watch episode 8. You made it all the way to the end here. Thank you so much for making it through. Please leave a comment if there's anything in this episode that you enjoyed or perspective you want to share or anything like that. I would love to read it. For those of you that send tips or become members while I am offline, I'd like to take a second just to say that I appreciate you very much. Or if you buy merch, Delta V and Voyager are 2 albums of instrumental guitar music that I've created that are stream safe. So if you want to have music in your own streams, you can certainly go to drmickmerch.com and download it. Or you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and all the others. Thanks for taking the time to come out. I'm really grateful for it. Follow me on socials. Join us in Discord. Links are in the description. And like I said, 9:30 p.m. Pacific time, Tuesday through Sunday, if you ever want to come hang out with this amazing. Love to have you here. It was a great episode. I'm excited for episode 9, and I will look forward to catching you when that launches. So, till next time.